So the most important thing about being able to lead when you're not technically a leader, right? So like lead from within the pack. The first thing that you need to do is operate and practice with the utmost integrity so that people trust you. And then advocate for things that make your practice better, your patient's experience safer, more effective, and makes the organization really live up to the tenets that the organization should be putting out there, right? So we should be talking about working for the best of our patients, making sure care is equitable, making sure care is safe. And so if you do those things, if you become somebody who people know they can trust because you're a person of high integrity. What you say, you mean. What you mean, you say. You do things and you move in an intentional manner. And then if you also become somebody who identifies problems and works to advocate to make those things better, you're going to set up yourself as a person who people immediately identify as being a leader, immediately identify as, I want to be like this person. This is the type of culture that I want to work to continue pushing forward through the organization. And then also that will help you get some experience and some exposure to leadership things as people will, like I said, naturally say like, oh, we need a problem solved, or oh, we have an idea, or oh, actually it's this person had an idea. They came to me. They saw this problem. They advocated for the practice. They advocated for the patients. It really is going to need you to be intentional about how you move in the space and make yourself be seen as somebody who is effective, who is honest, and who is invested. So one of the things that I think people are really good at is being what I call a problem identifier. Like coming to their leaders, coming to the group and saying, this is a problem, this is a problem. If it only were different. But people don't take it a next step. They don't come with, this is a problem and this is a solution. This is a problem that I've noticed and this is a way I think we can work through it. When you start doing those things, when you bridge the and, instead of just stopping at identifying a problem, identifying a problem can sometimes be construed as complaining uh, because you're not coming with a solution, because you're not coming with a willingness to work on something. It can be construed as complaining, right? So to make yourself be known differently, I want you to follow up with an and. You identify a problem and you're going to bring a solution. You identify a problem and you're going to say, I'm willing to work on it. You don't have to have the right answer. You have to have an answer. And that's really the thing that will set you apart. So, when you are advocating for change, you need to learn to speak the language of the people you're speaking to, meaning you need to understand what the next person is invested in, is interested in, and what, well, I don't want to say buzzwords, but we'll say buzzwords, will perk their ears up and say, hey, this is something that I should be listening to. Why? Because you want to paint the problem as something that's important to them. And then also you want to paint the solution as something that is important and doable for them. So if you just come and say, hey, we have this problem, right? Patients are doing X, Y, and Z. We're just not doing good enough. Um, you may follow it up with an and here is my solution, right? But if you're speaking to, let's say, the finance guy and you're giving an operational uh, solution, the finance guy may not have it in their bailiwick to follow through on, may not particularly be interested, and may not have like the parts and power play to do the thing you're asking, right? So you have to learn how to speak the language of the people who you want to help get you the change from, so that you're making the problem attractive to them, you're making the solution attractive to them. That will bring them into your cadre to get the work done and make things better for the people you're advocating for. first things you can do is identify something you're interested in or something that you find really important to advocate for, and just kind of focus on that. Take a small thing, take it bite size. Don't try to solve everything. Remember, you're busy. You are learning a system. You are growing your practice. You're studying for your boards. There's so many things that we as physicians do, right? But this also gives you some fulfillment as well to help be part of the change, right? So take a small piece. It doesn't have to be a huge operational change. For instance, this was years ago, but when I was a resident and we still had paper charts, um, a huge section where all the sheets were for us to fill out were disorganized and we were constantly running out. It was a point of frustration for me. It was a point of frustration for the other interns. Um, yes, it might be a little nerdy, but I spent some of my off time just making labeled folders. And I brought them in the next day, glued them on a wall, and was like, hey, let's see if this will help. Was it the long-term solution? No, but it was a solution. It was a small bite-sized change that I was able to make that made our work better, that made our practice easier, and, hopefully make things a little safer for patients if we could find the order sheets faster and get them the things that they need. Small, small change. I was an intern. One of the first things that I did, it was, like I said, a point of frustration for me and my colleagues. I wasn't looking to say, how are we going to change every document and organize every chart in the entire organization? It was folders with labels and tape. And that was a start of being a part of the organization and also being recognized as somebody who was willing to help make change.